cutest little wristbands that have the most beautiful Manchester bees on them. Oh, this is going to tell you how good Monday is going. Oh my God, how embarrassing. Welcome back to the Cosy Rosy Crochet channel. The last couple of weeks have been a little bit full on. I've had 2 yarn shows, I've had Textile and we've had East Anglia Yarn Festival. There's been lots of crocheting going on behind the scenes. So the original idea was to do a bit of a weekend vlog behind the scenes at the yarn shows. Both weekends were pretty busy, so instead I thought I would kind of round up the month in this video. I'm currently stood here weaving in a couple of ends, ready for a photo shoot later today, and I will take you along for that. You might not get a sneak peek of this pattern just yet. It's certainly been one of those months where lots of things have been going on, lots of plans were made, and not all of them went to plan. Overall, it has been a wonderfully creative month. I thought I would take you along behind the scenes at both of those yarn shows, maybe take you along to the photo shoot today and have a bit of a cosy catch up while I do it. The first show for March was the Textile show, which was being held at Manchester Central. I got to stay in rather a nice hotel, which was the Midland Hotel, right opposite the event centre. Glorious sunny day on the Saturday, the first day of the show. As you can see from that clock, it is only 8:20. For some reason, I was really nervous about this show. I don't know if it was the travelling up, I got lost on the way to the event centre. My sense of direction is not the best, but luckily I had Diana of the Crochet Chain driving right ahead of me to head me straight in the right direction to load in and set up. The stand size was a little bit on the small side. I was there as a pattern designer only, so I didn't have any of my wool or anything, but you know I do like to take quite a few samples with me. The event space itself was absolutely glorious. It's actually an old train station and it reminds me very much of Piccadilly Central in London, which they do have a Piccadilly in Manchester, I believe, actually. The reason I got in so early was not only the opportunity to have a little sneak peek at some people's stands that I could have a look at, it's to have a little chat with some of the organisers, with the other stand holders, and of course to finish setting up. I hadn't actually got any of my pricing out at this point of the morning, and even though it seems like an hour and a half before the show, I should have loads and loads of time, I really didn't. But here is the first look at my stand. So I am all set up for the Textile show today. Got the cutest little wristbands that have the most beautiful Manchester bees on them. It's really exciting to be here. I've got the most amazing neighbours to my stands. I would literally take you around each of my neighbours a little bit later today. It is a little bit short on space because it's only a 2-metre stand, and I'm here on a pattern only basis, but I do have pretty much all my patterns, and of course you can see the brand new Autumn Poppy book right there. Let's give you a close-up. Love that. Huge thank you to Fiona for pretending to be a customer. So I tried to capture all of my neighbours. That was Diana of Crochet Chain, and opposite to me to the left I had Yarn Unique, whose yarn I did treat myself to stitch up something. You'll see it later in this video. I had Cotton Pod on the other side. I thought I had more footage of my neighbours, but not so much, unfortunately. Sorry, but they were glorious. I really like the stuff on this embroidery stand. It was phenomenal. Even if you're not the best person for embroidery, this kind of note paper and putting on quotes that you like from your favourite shows, such as Father Ted. And they also had musical staves, and the one that's in the shot now, and you sing it, you'll understand why there is a shark's fin on there. I wish I had captured more of this weekend because it really was absolutely fabulous, and it is really always lovely seeing people in person after chatting online and seeing familiar customers and meeting new ones. But there wasn't much captured, so I apologise, but I did have a great weekend. Today I'm heading off to the Norwich showground for the East Anglia Yarn Show. To say that I'm a little bit tired is a bit of an understatement. I've had my normal week and now I'm heading back off again this weekend for another yarn show. I have had my husband home this week, which has been an absolute pleasure, but I am leaving him at home because I can't fit him in the car. So Textile was a great show. It was really interesting to see what sold. I had a bestseller. The bestseller for that show was, what was it? Oh, it was the Hooked on Summer book, which, you know, I can understand. We are heading into the warmer months, and it's actually the Hooked on Summer's book birthday. It launched a year ago this year at the Stitch Festival. Cross that out because I'll mention it now, which also means it's a year since my accident on the motorway on the way to the show. I am still a little bit hesitant of going into that third lane when there's 4 lanes on a motorway, and I certainly won't sit in it for very long. I will overtake and move back because I do not want a repeat of that. It wasn't even a bad crash. I mean, not for me. I was the front of the crash, so everything kind of piled in behind me, but there were 4 vehicles involved in that. And if I had been that third car that was hit by the kind of Bedford van, I don't want to be in that position ever. I am a very cautious driver anyway, but probably more so now. Not in a bad way, you know what I mean? I keep an eye on things, but it has certainly stayed with me, and I'm probably a little bit more cautious than I need to be. It's better to get somewhere safely than it is not to reach your destination. In the last video, I showcased a snippet of the almost finished new pattern that's coming out in that's coming out in April. I did treat myself to some new yarn to make a sample for my stand in hand-dyed yarn. I'm not a huge hand-dyed yarn buyer, mainly because it's a little bit beyond my budget at times, especially when I'm making for my body, but I am making a smaller size sample for my stand. Would you like to see what I bought? I have already shared this on my stories because the way that I've stitched up the pattern features a self-striping yarn in some of the rows. So I've got this beautiful colour as the main colour, and then I have this colour which features a similar kind of tone in the green to work as the self-striping. These are from Yarn Unique, who was opposite me at the at Textiles, and this is a little bit special, this yarn. It is a Silky Sock DK, so it's a blend of 50% silk and 50% superwash merino. I know there's a lot of contention around superwash at the moment, but there really doesn't need to be. And the variegated colour is also a DK sock yarn, but it's 85% extra fine superwash merino and 15% nylon. Nylon is always recommended for actual socks that you're going to wear with feet, you know, and it's just the most glorious colour. I can't wait to use these up. The other things I need to do before I leave for the show, I'm aiming to leave about 1 o'clock today. It's only a 2-hour drive and I don't want to get there too early. So I'm aiming to leave about 1 o'clock. I still have things like electricals that I need to charge, including my card machine. I'm going to take my iPad, although I'm not really using it at shows unless I have someone with me. I need to print a new price card because I forgot to add the Autumn Poppy collection onto the list of pricing. Of course, I need to pack the car. I need to fill up with petrol. I have printed a new pattern and I've found my old version of the bag to take with me. And it's due to arrive between 11:30 and 1:30, and I'm hoping it arrives before I leave so I can take it with me. And I have treated myself to something to help spruce up my table and my display, which is a new way of holding my crochet hooks and other accessories that I recommend while I'm at shows. I used to have, well, I still have, a big kind of product spinnery thing, but it's really cumbersome to take to shows, and actually it holds a little bit too much stock than I can hold in my car. So I'm taking a few bits with me today to see how that works as well. So I need to get crack-a-lacking and get some stuff done. So I will catch up with you once I am at East Anglia Yarn Festival, and I'll try and do some kind of time lapse of setting up my stand as well. Good morning. It is about 7:15. I'm talking really quietly and I don't know why. I don't know if there's anybody in the room next door. Had a really, really, really good sleep. I don't know if I look alive. I was going to curl my hair. I just couldn't be bothered. I'm very, very excited for the day ahead. I have my my lanyard ready, being a vendor. The stand is pretty much set up. It is a lot bigger than I realised. I'm very lucky. I did bring my other clothes rail as well, so everything's a bit more spread out. I've got clothes rails either side. All the books are on display except the fact that I actually forgot to bring one of my book stands, so my lovely husband is currently driving that up so that I can finish setting up the stand. I've still got all the pricing to put on, but I haven't yet had breakfast. I was a little bit slower in setting up yesterday because I didn't know how to lay my stand out to make the most of the space and to showcase as many patterns as possible. I have done some jiggery pokery of shoving stuff in as well, because even though it's lovely and wide, it feels a little bit shallow. I don't think it is. I think it's hard for me to judge where the end of the stand is. And I like people to come in and out of the aisles rather than having to stand at the side of the aisle and cause a queue, because it's going to be so busy. I'm really happy with how the layout is. The lovely gentleman from Super Effective Fibres, who I met way back when, about 3 years ago at Summer Wool Festival, they are next door to me and they helped me make sure that everything looks pretty, and they helped put my banner up and stuff because, you know, being a little bit of a shorter person, working at height can be a challenge. So I'm really, really pleased. Hopefully remember and find time to film my stand properly today, get some faraway angles and that kind of thing, because I'm actually really proud of it. It makes me feel like I should probably be having a slightly bigger stand at more shows, because obviously we're up to book number 7. I want to print more patterns, but I am limited to what I can fit in my car when it comes to stock and display. So it's hard to get a balance of that. And let's be honest, we all want to squish. We want to see how things look in real life. And I'm very proud of how many samples I have on my stand. I've never actually counted them, but I think I have at least 4 blankets, if not 5. I'm probably going to put the 5th one out today. I have goodness knows how many garments on there as well. I feel very, very proud this morning. I don't know why. I didn't feel I was a lot more stressed last week. I don't know why. I need to blow up a couple of balloons to fit inside here. That was a really good trick that I learned from Ethel and Joan at the Waltham Abbey Wool Show. She has the most beautiful painted, they're all hand painted, like yarn bags and totes that she does, and she displays them using balloons. I bought transparent ones because I want you to be able to see through the stitches and everything like that. I do own a balloon pump, but I gave it to my sister-in-law for Christmas so that she could blow up the balloons I bought for my niece and nephew. And then the theory is, where you put your hand, it makes it transparent, so maybe it needs a warm room. And now it looks a little bit better than a flat bag. I can probably fit 2 in there. What do you reckon? It looks a bit better than a flat bag, doesn't it? Just gives it a bit of life. A great little shopping bag. I hope it does well today. It's one of my favourite designs. And it is an old one. Oldie but goldie, as people might say. And yeah, designed in 2020. So this pattern's 6 years old. And it uses a self-striping cotton cake. Right, I'm going to go and eat. I will catch up with you when I'm over at my stand. Just opened and I wanted to show you the granny shopping bag all hanging up on the display with the pattern right next door. And this was the new accessory stand I was talking about that arrived. Can't fit an awful lot on there, but it's got all the essentials. I've got pretty much every single sized crochet hook from a 2 all the way up to a 12. I do have these wonderful folding scissors and I really love them. They work so easily no matter where you are. And then of course, because I have my Iris Blossom dress up with its belt made from a lucette fork, I have a couple of lucette forks available as well. And to show people how it works, I do have a little bit of a swatch there so people can see that too. while I showcase some of the amazing stands that were available at the East Anglia Yarn Festival, I wanted to talk you through the feeling at the show and how the whole thing just felt wonderful. I'm not sure if it was the stand layout, but everything felt calm for me, not overly busy at any time. I was able to talk to people more easily. I really am leaning more into going for a larger stand size overall at shows. This year's shows are all booked and pretty much all paid for, so I'm limited about extending the stand size at any other shows this year, but I'm certainly going to be looking to rebook for bigger stand sizes as shows go on over the coming years. I did get to see lots of lovely people, including Sam of Knitted Home. They were the overall stand winners for being beautiful at Knitting and Stitching show in London. It was the second year that they were there, and she was so kind. She brought me a coffee and a brownie. I mean, what more could you ask for? I do have to mention my most favourite food at the show was this amazing cinnamon swirl. I had it for lunch both days, and it was so filling that on Saturday I didn't even have any dinner, which is, you know, quite a rarity for me. I also got to catch up with the fabulous Amora Loves Yarn. She is a wonderful person, and I gifted her a copy of my beach tunic dress the last time I saw her, which was at Textiles. Very kindly shared that I'd gifted that with her, and lots of people came up to purchase the pattern on her recommendation, which is obviously wonderful for other people to be able to stitch up one of my favourite patterns. I did have an extra special guest at my stand, which was absolutely amazing. My cousin, that I have not seen since goodness knows when, probably at least 20 if not 30 years. He came up and introduced himself as an adult, and believe it or not, him and his wife actually run a crochet and knitting group in Norwich, which is really quite exciting to discover. The show itself was phenomenal for me. I had such an amazing time, chatted with lots and lots of people, made some really nice connections as well. Oh, happy Monday. I hope this is picking up the audio. Well, this is going to tell you how good Monday is going. I have this on inside out, and I've been outside. So that's fun. Let's just put this back on. Oh my God, how embarrassing. So we'll try that again. Happy Monday. I am back from East Anglia Yarn Festival. I forgot to film setting up. I forgot to film packing down. My goodness, my dishwasher is being noisy. But I can't explain to you what a lovely show that was. Obviously extra special for me, getting to meet my cousin for the first time alongside lots and lots and lots of lovely people. I'm going to grab something. So yesterday on Sunday, I was gifted this beautiful crochet hook by Hazel. Can you see it? Yes. So she had messaged me on Instagram and said, oh, what's your favourite colours? What's your favourite hook size? And as a general rule, you know I like a chunky or an Aran weight yarn. So she has made me my very own custom silicone bead crochet hook in a 5mm. I haven't opened it yet because I'm going to save it for a little bit later. I want to snap another photo to thank her kindly. And of course, with my obsession of making these blooming Easter baskets, she's made it a little happy Easter one for me, which I just think is so cute. A huge thank you to Hazel for that. It's such a very kind gift. Today I'm going to get to see my friend's new baby. It's actually like 6 weeks, but you know I've been poorly and I don't want to spread my germs to a newborn. So I'm going to get to meet my friend's baby today. I'm really excited for that. And then tomorrow I've got Julie coming round for another cup of tea, a moan and a lovely chat. I do live for those days. Wednesday I'm off work, so I'm going to be literally spending as much time as I can crocheting, really with the thought in mind that I need to get this sample made. And then Wednesday, I have a photo shoot booked. I'll be able to share some of the behind the scenes of the photo shoot and maybe give you a sneak peek of the next garment pattern because it's finished. It's just ready to grade and ready for testing with a view to be released in June. And the reason it's going to be June is I don't actually have any yarn shows in May because I'm taking some time off. So I'm really excited for that. As you can see by the state of me, I might be ready for it as well. I may have already told you this, I've sneaked in one more yarn show in April and I'm going to be going to Wonderwool in Wales, which is a huge yarn show because it is a wool show, they prefer natural fibres, and I have a lot of patterns that are made in cotton blends, so I am suitable for the show with my designs, but I can't take along my commercial yarn because that's available everywhere and they don't need to buy it from me. I am allowed to feature natural fibres such as cotton and other yarns, so I'm hoping to become a bit of a stockist for Maggie and Me. Now, Maggie and Me has her very own beautiful stranded cotton. This is chunky cotton, it's 100% recycled cotton, and I made my easy linen stitch bag in this cotton and I absolutely love it. The reason that it's stranded, if you can see there, it's a little bit strandy, it's not got that cotton core in my video where I compared lots of different macrame cords. So this is a stranded cotton and I am a huge fan of it. It is beyond soft, but being stranded it can be a little bit trickier to work with. As you know, I'm trying to have a new design launch at each show. It might not necessarily be a brand new design, it could be a new to print design. And when I was having a little look at all the colours she had, I thought about one of the samples I made a long time ago, probably back in 2020 actually, might be 2021, which was my plant hanger. And I'm planning on remaking my design in this cotton and being able to sell it as a kit or individually alongside some of my other cotton bag patterns as well. So I'm going to be talking with Maggie and Me in a little bit more detail about that over the coming weeks, ready for Wonderwool, so that her beautiful yarns can be on display and available for purchase at that show alongside the patterns that it's used in. But yeah, I'm going to go and get cracking because, as always, the list is long, the day is not, and I will see you soon. So today's photo shoot is with the amazing Candy Photo. I am so fortunate to be able to call her a friend. She takes the most amazing photos. She's been my photographer for quite a while, and if I could, I would use her for everything that I don't have to photograph myself, if funds allowed. And I'm very fortunate because she does give me preferential rates as well. Her work is absolutely second to none. Sorry, distracted by the birds in the garden again. Today's shoot is to capture the new top that is coming out in April. So I'm going to give you a couple of snippets of that one, and the second top that's being photoed I will showcase more in the next video. I'm going to go into more about the photography and all that kind of stuff in my next video because I'm going to be talking a lot about this design. However, can you help me name this pattern? I'm really struggling. I've just been calling it the long wave sweater for 4 months. No, yeah, pretty much 4 months. It's been on the list for longer than that. As a swatch, and I'm absolutely stuck at what to call it. For this morning, all I have to do is get these ends woven in on this new design so that that's ready to be photographed. Maybe remove the stitch markers from marking the corners, because that will be a top-down design. And I will share more of both of these later, but I think when I get back, I'm gonna settle down and talk you through what I've been working on that does involve this glorious stuff, and talk about some of the future plans for April. So I am back from the photo shoot. It all went really well. I think we've got really nice photos. There were a lot of body image issues, mainly because I'm wearing shorts, I've got a short-ish top on for me, and I just feel exposed and all summery things. But I wanted to show you what I'm going to be working on for the next couple of weeks. And it's going to be the same jumper in a different colourway. This is this hand-dyed yarn from Yarn Unique. Isn't it just absolutely stunning? And I love how the variegated yarn is working up in this version as well. So that this is going to be ready for the patterns release in April. So not long to go. I think I've got about 17 days. This is the front panel, just over, more than halfway through. This is the a lot smaller size than mine, but it's really helping to keep this pattern exciting using this beautiful yarn. The silk and superwash merino blend is just to die for. The variegated yarn is a slightly different makeup, but it's not a huge issue because obviously washing is going to be hand wash only for this. This is only a sample and it's probably only going to be on display. May never be worn, which is a little bit sad. Maybe I'll raffle it off at a later date. April is definitely shaping up to be as busy as March has been. So I definitely need to have a bit of a closer look at the reality of getting things done. I haven't actually made a firm plan at all for the upcoming quarter. I try and work in quarters other than knowing that this pattern is going to release, and the other pattern that was photographed today, also unnamed, is also going to be releasing in Q2. In April, I'm going to have 2 different yarn shows to attend, which is very, very exciting. There was originally only the Spring Into Wool, which is being held on the 11th and 12th of April at the Leeds Grammar School. I absolutely love this show. I'm really excited for it. I do need to have a little bit of a think about my stand layout because I'm going to be in the foyer. So front and centre of when people walk into the door. The challenge that I have is that I want the stand to be accessible accessible, you know, so you can see everything from both sides of the stand. But it's only 3 meters wide. So it's a little bit smaller than I had for the East Anglia Yarn Festival that I've just done. So I need to be aware of how people are going to move through the stand, how people might approach it from different angles, but still making sure that everything on display looks phenomenal and it's going to be a successful show for me. So I have ordered, oh, that reminds me, I ordered something yesterday. I ordered another one of the the backdrops that I used at East Anglia Yarn Festival so that I could have one on each side of the stand and then have it almost walkable through. Have people view things both from the front, the back and both sides, depending on which way they're walking through. So it's quite a lot of planning needs to go into that, and I need to make sure I don't take too much display stuff. The focus is obviously going to be on this new sweater. I'm intending on wearing my version and having this one on display. I obviously need to get it finished and there's quite a lot to do. So I'm going to sit and work a couple of rows of this so I can be ready for the show in April. As always, I want to say a huge thank you for spending some time with me today as I take you through a whistle-stop tour of a couple of weeks of this month. It has been a busy one. It has certainly been very creative, and I am so excited to see what April is going to bring. I can't wait to showcase more of the photo shoot with you in the next video, along with hopefully sharing this finished version of the jumper as well. If you haven't already, let me know in the comments what you think I should name this design, because I am absolutely stumped. I'm going to put it out in the Facebook group and also on my Instagram stories to see if we can get some ideas flowing, because I need to get the pattern out to print as quickly as possible so that I have it to hand ready for Spring Into Wool. As always, thank you so much for being here. I will see you in the next video.